Hello, everyone. If you can hear my voice, if you can see me, if you can see the screen, just say hi. I know it's been a very long time on Swiss. Yes, we didn't do October because we had our conference in that month. So here we are again, continue with Swiss, the Incorruptible Women series. And I'm so excited with today's topic and our guest. This is someone I've always wanted to have on this platform, and I'm glad to have her today. And all I can say is thank you for being part of this. And as you join, please drop a comment so that I know you're there with us before we kickstart. I if you're there, just say hi, say hello. If you can hear my voice, thank you everyone that is joining. If you're joining from the YouTube, we are live both on YouTube and the group on Facebook. So thank you everyone for being part of this evening. And it's just like always, it's always an interesting and an educative one. And I know that this program today will not be an exception. Like I said, this person that I invited today is just one of the person I respect so much, on the platform. Even though I've not had a chance to. Somebody said they cannot comment on Facebook. Is anyone trying to comment on Facebook? Can you let me see if there's any technological issue going from my side? Okay, good evening. Okay, thank you very much. I can see somebody commenting already. Thank you, everyone. So we can start. So today I'm having with me who is going to be speaking to us on how to say yes to growth. I'm really looking forward to how she's going to deal with this topic and the experience she's going to be sharing with us today with this topic. And I know we all want to grow. This is one of the things that speak to our life existence. And that's why one of the reasons why we have brought up this topic, so that we can help ourselves to groom ourselves to be better off. So today, let me just welcome quickly Madam Amino Grace Chaflet. I hope I pronounced your surname very well. If I'm not, please pardon me. But you do justice to it by the time you start speaking. So without much ado, without us wasting our time, because we are 3 minutes into the program, and I like keeping to time. This is one of the things that define me. So I want you to quickly, introduce yourself to our audience. Let them get to meet you before we can start. Madam Amino.
Okay, okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Um, it is an honor and a privilege to be here this evening. You can see the smile on my face. I'm so excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, Morenike. God bless you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I am Amina Grace Jafflet. What do I say? Okay, I'm from Adamawa State, but I've been living
Wow.
in Lagos for the past more than 25 years now, even though I can't really speak Yoruba.
Wow. We should teach you that part.
Okay, so and it's been lovely. So I am a book editor and a proofreader. That is, I work with writers, I work with authors to clean up their manuscripts and make it fit for publication, whether it is fiction or non-fiction, as long as whatever you've written
Mm,
aligns with my value, and we're
yes.
able we negotiate and we reach a compromise, a good place. I am ready to edit your work.
Great.
You can trust me on that. Yes, I I I I have an online editing company, or an online editing business called
Okay.
AGJ Editorials, and I'm the team lead there.
Okay.
We also undertake content writing and ghost writing. So if you're so busy, but you have these ideas, these thoughts flying in your head, and you want to pen it down, just reach out to me. We work together. Or you've written the manuscript halfway, you don't know what else to write. just call me. Mm,
Oh,
I'm good to
great.
go with that. Then
It's so-
sorry.
no, you can
Okay,
continue. I want you to say
okay,
as much as you can in this at this level.
okay, okay, okay. Then I am very, very, very passionate about late bloomers. When I say late
Wow.
bloomers, I mean women in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, who have a dream and they believe that they can achieve that dream. I'm an
Yeah.
advocate for such people because
Yeah.
I'm a late bloomer myself. I know for
Mm,
one reason or the other, so many people have had to start life, have had to start living life at an
mm,
at an age that is older than society permits you to live age.
yeah.
So if you're ready to defy society, you're ready to defy every negativity, you
Mm,
can have me at the corner. I'm your advocate because
yeah.
that is the life I'm living. I believe
Oh, great.
with God, all things are possible. Then
Possible.
with you
Yes.
also, all things are
Mm,
possible.
possible.
So
Yeah.
if God says all things are possible, you are not willing to believe that and to walk in that, nothing is going to work. So with God, all
Yeah.
things are possible. With you, depending on God, all things are
Mm,
possible. So I always support women that are ready to go as far as their
God
body,
has
their
given them.
mind can take them.
Take them. Thank
Yes.
you very much, Ma.
So
Thank you
I'm
so
supporting
much.
you.
It's an honor to have you, and I'm so excited because our topic today is talking about how to say yes to growth. And I see that, in fact, introducing yourself, especially about the late bloomer, is already turning to saying yes to growth because nobody would do that at that age if you are not saying yes to growth. So now, guys, in the next 35, 40 minutes or thereabout, Madam Amina is going to be speaking to us on the topic how to say yes to grow. And I hope you have your jotter with you just like I do. Yeah. So we are going to be jotting as much as we can from from your experience, from your teaching on the topic, how to say yes to growth. And I know we're going to learn a lot of things today. So while I will keep some aspects of things I wanted to mention because I don't want to make Madam, you not feel uncomfortable before we finish this program. After the program, I'm going to say one or two things about her, which I already wish to talk about a long while. So this is an opportunity for me to really talk about it. So if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to say a few things about her that made me get convinced that we must have her on this platform. So, Madam Amino, is your floor is yours now. In the next 35 minutes to 45 minutes, please, whatever you have for us, I pray the God leads you through. So, guys, let's dive in.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. As you already know, our topic for today is saying yes to growth. How to say yes to growth. Of course, we all know what growth is. When we talk about growth, we're talking about progression, we're talking about development. Growth is a necessary part of life. Anything that is not growing is dying or is dead already. So we cannot do without growth. And in the aspect of growth we're talking about today, is not physical growth, of course. We're talking about our mindsets, we're talking about our mental capacity, how we can grow our mental capacity. If you have a sound body and your mind is not sound, I don't need to tell you what that means. We have people with mental challenges. We have mad people roaming the streets who are physically fine. There's nothing wrong with their bodies. They are okay. But their minds have been messed up, you know,
Yeah.
for one reason or the other, you know. So it is very, very important that your mindset is growing. I dare say, even if you have a physical deformity and your mindset is all right, you can do wonders. You go places. I'm sure on the internet and even maybe in your neighborhood, you see people who are physically challenged with sharp mindsets. You see people who are having issues. I saw I don't know the man's name now, but he's an American, and they say he lives in a capsule because
Yeah.
from childhood he had polio, and the
Okay.
polio caused a paralysis from his neck down. So
Wow.
he lives in a capsule. I don't know if he's
Wow.
still alive. I don't know if he's still alive. He lives in a capsule. It's only his head that is outside the capsule. And
Hmm.
with only that, his head, he has invented so many things. He has
Yeah.
done so many things. And if you see him, he has this big white smile on his face.
Face.
You know?
Hmm.
Yes, he has this big white smile on his
Yeah.
face. The day I saw that thing, I was really humbled. I was humbled. I think,
Hmm.
what is he even smiling about? But
Yeah.
he's always smiling. This is somebody that they have to feed him, because it's only his head. They have to feed it. So that's what we're talking about. Once your mindset is at the right place, it does not matter how your physical body is. I'm sure, of course, we are mothers here during the time of pregnancy. When you don't feel your baby kicking, you get worried because it means something is happening. After giving birth, you expect your child, you know, through the stages, you expect your child to sit down, to crawl, to stand, to walk, to talk, to do all those things that children are expected to do. So when none of that happens, it means there's a problem with growth. You begin to get worried. Or even when they do all that and they are not increasing in size, you get worried. It means there's a problem with growth. I'm saying all this to remind you of how important growth is. If you're not growing, as I said before, it's either you're dead or you are in the process of dying. As long as we live on this path of heaven, we must go. We must go. It's only people that don't want that have given up on life that will not desire growth. And I know all of us on this platform, we have not given up on life. We cannot give up on life. That is why we have to say yes to growth. That is why we have to say yes to growth. So, as I said, you see, this mindset is the thing. The mindset is the epicenter of our life. It is I don't know how to say it. It is everything that makes up who we are. Your mindset is what you believe, your mindset is your values, your mindset projects the kind of person you are to whoever you interact with. Once you start interacting with people, when you open your mouth to talk, where even when you share some thoughts you have, people will begin to understand how your mindset is, and people will be able to know if they want to have a relationship with you or if they want to run away from you. It all depends on you. And the thing about this mindset is it is neutral. Your mindset is neutral. However your mindset behaves depends on what you feed that mindset. It's as they say, garbage in, garbage out. Just like our physical bodies, if you eat junk food, even if you've been eating junk food from your teenage years into your 20s, into your 30s, into your 40s, and nothing is doing you, I can tell you that if you escaped all that, when you step into your 50s, your body will start telling you something. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience. I come from a family of my mother's side of the family, they are fat. But all throughout my teenage years, my 20s, my 30s, I did not show any sign of being fat at all. I did not show any, I could eat anything I wanted. I could wear anything I wanted. I did not show any sign of being fat. So because of that, I ate anything I wanted. I did not look at exercise, nothing, nothing, nothing. But when I got into my mid 40s, my body started telling me something. I still neglected it. When I hit 50, nobody told me that I have to discard some of those unhealthy food and all that. Even if I want to eat some in moderation, and I began to do the little kind of exercise I could. It is the same thing with your mindset. If you neglect your mindset, it will catch up with you. It will show up later. I'm not a prophetess of doom. I'm just saying it as it is. As I said, the mindset is neutral. So if you don't feed your mindset very well, there's not much you can get from it, and it will affect your life. It will affect your relationships with your husband, with your children, with people at your workplace. It will affect your relationship with everything. It will affect your relationship even with yourself. It will affect your relationship even with yourself, because you will suffer from things like low confidence, low self-esteem, and all kinds of negative things. So it is your responsibility to feed your mindset with the right things. Somehow we concentrate on feeding our bodies, even though we do it carelessly sometimes. And those that are into fitness, those fitness freaks, those that watch what they eat, if you stay around them, in fact, you will marvel at how much they take care of their bodies. They are always weighing how much they weigh. They are always checking whatever they want to check, their sugar level, whatever, whatever. Unfortunately, we don't do that with the mind. We don't do that with our mindsets. Somehow we just think that maybe since we can't see it, since we can't touch it, it's not something that is tangible. So we just think that God will just take care of that for us. God will just take care of that for us. So, and we neglect it. We just think that things will just fall in place just like that. Things will not fall in place just like that. Let me tell you a little of my story. I lost my job when I was almost 48. And that is a job I had for nearly 10 years. I was actually planning to retire when I reached 10 years. That was supposed to be November 1st of 2017. But July 1st of 2017, I was sacked. And that did a lot of things to me. I was happy I was sacked because I was fed up with the job. I was not giving it my best. I knew that I was not giving it my best. And every morning to wake up, and go to work was a chore. It was a terrible thing to do. To be honest, I was just going, let the end of month reach, let me just get my pay. That was just what I was doing, you. That was just what I was doing. But during that period, things got so bad between me and my boss. It got so bad because he could feel, I could feel the bad energy from him. He could feel the bad energy from me, and it was affecting the work. This was a job I started with so much zeal. I did so many things, accomplished so many things. So it's an auto mechanic workshop. I was the general manager. I was running things well. I was taking care of the mechanics. I was taking care of the admin. I was running things well, but at a point things just went haywire, and I was not happy. But as I said, I needed the money, so I continued. Meanwhile, I did not have anything to fall back on, apart from that job. I did not have anything to fall back on. No, absolutely nothing. But I had already made up my mind that come November, I will I will put in my resignation. I wanted to put in my resignation by August, I think, to give them 3 months notice, you know. But as God will have it, um, the man decided that he didn't want me anymore by July. The day I walked into that office and picked, somebody had already hinted me, because before then, for like 2 weeks, I was not at work. My daughter was sick, and I also fell sick. You know, so when everything was okay, somebody in the office had already hinted me that it seems as if Oga wants to do whatever. I said there's no problem about that. So when I walked into the office that day, on my desk, I saw the letter. I knelt down there, lifted my hands to God. I said, God, thank you. Thank you. I bounced out of that office. Anybody that saw me that day would think I was giving a promotion. They didn't know that I was holding my sack letter. Honestly, you would think I was giving it. I was so happy because I felt as if a burden had been lifted off my head. You know? So I now went. I had already made up my mind that I was not going to seek employment again. I was not going to work for anybody. I said I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't know that being your own boss is not what we are thinking. It's not
It's
what we
not
are thinking.
good.
How? Jesus. Hey. So, I went online, was checking different things. I tried different things. I tried mini importation. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried different things just, because I needed, at least I didn't want to stay without money. I was paid all my entitlements. To be fair to the man, he paid me all my, I didn't have any problem. I was paid all my entitlements. Until today, I maintain a very good relationship with my former boss. A very, very good relationship because I did not take anything personal. I didn't. I mean, the man was protecting his business. I understand perfectly. So I tried my hands at everything. I tried my hands at everything, you know. And in the process of trying my hands at everything, I now realized that I did not even value myself. I had low self esteem. I had low confidence. In fact, everything positive was low. And the amazing thing is that I did not even know. I did not even know that that was how I was. I didn't know. I didn't know. It was in the process of trying to find what to do that I even stumbled on personal development. I've never heard of anything called personal development. Hey, Jesus. I never knew about personal development. So I now dived into this personal development of a thing, and I saw that before I can become my own boss, before I can start looking for money, I have to work on myself. If I don't work on myself, I may work to get the money, but with the kind of person I was, how would I even relate to the customers? How would I even get the customers? Okay, even if I get them, how will I sustain the business? I was at a very bad place. I was at a very bad place. And being an introvert, I can stay in my house for 1 year without stepping out if I don't have to step out for anything. In fact, I always look forward, even till now, I always look forward to everybody leaving the house so that I can be alone. That's how much I love my company. Every morning, I always look forward to my husband going to work, my daughter going to school, then my niece going to school so that they can leave only me in the house.
Now we have
And
brought
that's the
you
kind
out.
of, yeah, which is good, which is good, which is good. So as I was saying, I just realized that I needed to work on myself. And I knew that if I worked on myself, if I was at a good place with myself, then other things in my life will fall into place. I'll be able to relate better with people. I'll be able to find the kind of business that I should do because my mind was messed up. So by the time I settled that, I started taking some courses, on leadership, on emotional intelligence, all those kind of things. You know, my mind was able to calm down, and that was when I discovered that I could be an editor and a proofreader because I love reading. You know, when I read articles in the newspaper or I read any book, I just find myself correcting it in my mind. I will say, why did what kind of spelling is this? This person did not see the spelling. Ah, why did this person write this sentence? Like, no, 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 no. I didn't even know that I could make money out of it, you know, until someone mentioned it and I decided to go that way. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this to make you realize that having the right mindset, having a growth mindset, having growth in your view will do you well. If you do you well with yourself, if you do you well with relationships with other people, if you're at the right place in your life, if you're at the right place in your life,
I think we lost her. So while we're waiting for her, I'm really enjoying the session. If you are enjoying the session with Madam, say yes. So I see that growth really, from what she's saying so far, there has to be a level. At that point, there's a line between you saying yes to growth and you experiencing the growth itself. So from all that she's saying so far, I'm just saying it has to do with you first accepting, because there is nothing that will happen if you have not accepted the growth already. So let's just wait for her to come back on. I think she's trying to come back. She's having network issue. Okay. So if you can hear me, say hi. If you can still hear me, or is it about my end? Let me be sure. Okay, she's back. She's back. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Oh my God, it's so
Yes,
dark. Jesus.
yes.
Please, I apologize. My laptop just went off. I don't know why. I guess
Oh,
it's
okay.
maybe it's low battery and I don't have light. Ah, oh my
Okay,
God.
so you can
I'm
continue. You can
really,
hear.
really sorry. Okay.
You can continue. At least you
Um
can hear your
uh
voice.
okay. Okay. So as I was saying, if you're not at a good place, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well.
Hello?
I can hear
Okay.
you.
As I was saying, okay, okay. If you're not at a good place as far as your mindset is, you cannot be at a good place in many other places in your life. I'm not saying your life will be completely scattered. I'm not saying your life will be over. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you will not be able to achieve so much because of many limits, of many limitations that you will be faced with. Um, that's just how it is. And as I said, it is our responsibility to feed our mindset. Please, just a minute, just a minute. I'm trying to see if I can get some light.
Okay.
Please excuse me.
So, guys, as I was saying, from all that Madam Amino has been talking about, it's clear in a way that the first place to start with is our mindset for growth to even happen. Because I mean, how would you implement growth, or how will you implement the activities that is involved in growth if you have not changed? And our story is kind of touching, but good that she's sharing the experience from a good standpoint, because some of us are not yet there, or some of us are facing similar situation, but we really don't know how to move out from that situation. So until we switch our mindset to help us move from that level, it may be difficult for growth to happen. So growth itself starts from, the mind. And you cannot conceive what your mind cannot vision. There's no way that would happen if you have not seen it. She mentioned something like she had to start with the personal development, from personal development level, and that opened her mindset to a lot of things that is possible. So if you have not positioned yourself to get that perception of another side of life, you will see everything that it may not be possible. So I'm not going to speak to her. So I'll allow her. Don't worry, mother. We understand what is happening in Nigeria at the moment. In as much as we can hear your
Thank
voice,
you.
that's what matters, and we can pick lesson from it. So we are good to go.
Okay.
So, Madam, no, please
Okay.
continue. I'm sure a lot of people watching too do not have fuel to power their
Right.
generator at the moment. It's a common issue, and we are all Nigerians. We can understand. So, please go ahead. Let's
Yes.
flow with what
Okay.
you have for us. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So I have some points that I would love to share about how we can say yes to growth. I want you to understand that um of course we know what, if we say yes to something, it means we find it valuable.
Yeah,
It means we know that we need to say yes to it
to that.
to
Mm,
get ahead in life. So growth cannot happen if you don't say yes to growth. If you
mm,
block your mind against growth, it can never happen. So some of the ways that you can say yes to growth is, first of all, you've got to understand that you are a human being.
yeah.
You've got to acknowledge
Mm,
that you have shortcomings.
yeah.
You are not God. It is only
Mm,
God that is infallible. As
mm,
long as you are a human being, you have shortcomings. And there's
mm,
nothing wrong with acknowledging that you have shortcomings. Acknowledgement
mm,
is not acceptance.
mm.
Acknowledgement
Yeah.
is not acceptance. If yes, it's only when you acknowledge you have a problem that you can find that you're open to getting a solution. If you
Yeah.
keep denying or hiding the fact that you have a problem,
Mm,
you can
mm,
never get a solution to that problem. So you've got
mm.
to acknowledge that you have shortcomings. You've got to acknowledge that you're lazy. You've
Yeah.
got to acknowledge that you don't like
Mm,
reading. You've got
yeah.
to acknowledge that you like sleeping too much. You've got
Mm,
to acknowledge that you like eating too much.
mm,
You've got to
mm.
acknowledge that you like meddling into people's businesses. You like
Yeah.
gossiping.
Mm,
You've got to acknowledge that you are judgmental.
mm.
You've got to
Yeah.
acknowledge that there 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 are there are so many bad things you like doing. Unfortunately, it's the bad things that people like doing. I don't
Yeah.
know. You see, I guess it's just human nature. That's how it is. But you've got to acknowledge that that is the kind of person you are.
You are.
Once you
Mm,
acknowledge these shortcomings, it means you're ready to face them. It means you're ready to overcome
mm,
them.
mm, mm.
Yes, I had to do the same thing. I had to acknowledge that I procrastinate too much. I
Much.
had to acknowledge that if they give me something to do, if they in fact the greatest disservice you can do to me is this thing, I want you to do it and you can submit it in the next 3 weeks. Hey, hey, I will not even look at it. I will wait till like
Mm,
2 days before the deadline. I will now start running all over the place.
mm,
And at the end of the
mm,
day, of course, I will not give it my best. I will not give
okay.
it my best. So I
Mm,
had to acknowledge that procrastination was a big problem for me.
mm,
By the time I acknowledged that, I faced it headlong, and that one
mm,
is no longer a problem for me. If I'm working with a client now, because the kind of work I do, I cannot even afford to procrastinate. I
yeah.
cannot afford to
Yeah.
procrastinate. If
Very.
I procrastinate, it means I will be calling up my client to say, I'm very sorry, you see you.
I really.
Meanwhile, I was the one that told the client that your work in 6 weeks, your work will be ready. Then you can
Really.
imagine, maybe 3 days to the sixth week, I will now be calling the client to say, hey, sir, ma, I'm so sorry, oh, hey, this thing will not be ready for another, even if it's another day.
Mm,
I mean, it speaks about somebody's integrity, you
yeah.
know. So I had to deal with that. I acknowledge that if you leave me alone, then I can sit down and watch TV 24 hours. Oh my God. But I had to deal with all that.
Yeah.
I, I
Mm,
had to deal with all that. And I'm alive and well.
of course.
I'm at home, there's light, the TV is off. In fact, everybody in my house has fallen into line. When the children come
Of
back from
course.
school, they don't switch on the
Yeah.
TV. They know that it is not time to switch on the TV. They
Yeah.
know they have to take care of this, they have to take care of that. That is if they will even watch the TV. They
Yeah.
already know that.
Mm,
So you must acknowledge talk to yourself. You know yourself. You don't need anybody to tell you the kind of person you are.
mm, yeah.
You know yourself. So be
Yeah.
honest with yourself. If nobody can be as honest with yourself as you yourself can be honest with yourself. So be
Mm,
honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Look yourself in the eye and tell yourself the truth. You are a
yeah.
lazy woman. What's wrong with you? You know.
Yeah.
uh
So
So yes, and all those challenges. The wonderful thing is they can all be overcome. You can
definitely.
overcome all of them. Talk to God about it. Be determined. You can there are challenges that you can overcome. Then you must see failure as an event, not a personality.
Yeah.
Don't look at failure as if it has your name on it.
Mm,
Don't look at failure like that. Failure does not have anybody's name on it.
yeah.
Failure is just an occurrence. It is just
Mm,
an event.
mm,
So that means you should be ready to make mistakes. Some people
yeah.
refuse to try things out because they don't want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Come on,
Mistake.
who are
Yeah.
you? Hey, who are you? A
Mm,
human being not to make mistakes? That's not possible. It's not possible. It's only God
mm,
that does not make mistakes. So the fact that you tried something and you failed, that does not mean you are a failure. That does not mean you cannot try and succeed. No, that does
mm,
not. It does not mean that. I've read of, I think, is it Thomas Edison? They said he tried to do the light bulb how many times? He kept failing. He kept failing. At the end of the day, he got it right. And when people
yeah.
asked him
Yeah.
that, eh,
Yeah.
eh, how is it? How is it that you did this thing? Is it 99 times? And he said, no, I did not fail 99 times. So I only found 99 ways of how not to do it. Can you see?
Sweet.
That is somebody that
Correct.
had, he said he found
Mm.
99 ways of how not to do it.
Something. Yeah.
Yes. So you see, that is somebody that has recognized that failure is something that happens to everybody.
But
And
yeah.
once you accept that you can fail, but you are not a failure, then you are
Yeah.
saying yes to growth. Then another
Growth.
thing is that you should be willing to learn new things. Be
Mm.
willing to learn. There are so many new things to learn every day. so many new things to learn every day, every day, every day. If you decide to stick to that's how we used to do it, oh,
Wait.
that's how we used to do it, oh, I'm sorry for you, oh, I'm really, really sorry for you, because that's how we used to do it. Where has it taken you to? You are at the same spot. You are still
Yeah.
at the same spot. So the earlier you learn to do new things, or you do old things in new ways, you are saying yes to it. There are so many, there are so many things that are old, but they are done in new ways. Like the editing and proofreading I do. I cannot imagine myself asking a client to print their manuscript and meet me. I will go and meet the person in his or her office to collect it. Then I'll come and be using my hand to be when when I have a computer, I have an email address, the client has a computer. I'm sure even if the client has written it in a book, the client will have transferred it to the computer, so that in the comfort of his or her house, in the comfort of my own house, we just do email. You send your manuscript to me via email, I check it out, do your work. In fact, most of my clients, I've never seen them, they have never seen me. But we are working.
Yeah.
We are working. Okay, see what we are doing now. I've never seen you. You have never seen me, not yet anyway. But see how we are relating as if we've known each other. So that is the power. Yeah, that is the power of doing old things in new ways, or that is the power of learning to do new things. Don't stick to your old ways of doing things, please. Don't say, me, I'm old school. What is the advantage of that you're old school? There are things that old school is good for, but there are some things that old school is not good for. So please say yes to both by willing to learn new things. Then watch the kind of company you keep. Watch the kind of company you keep. Yes, I know that you grew up with that your friend. You went to the same primary school, you went to the same secondary school, you even went to the same university. Maybe you got married the same year. Your husband and her own husband, they are friends. Your children are friends. But that your friend is not adding anything to your life. That your friend is so toxic. You cannot be loyal to those kind of friendships. You cannot be loyal to those kind of friendships. So you've got to watch the kind of company you keep. Any company you keep that is not making you a better person, or any company you keep that you are not making the other person a better person, it's better you cut off that kind of relationship. This life is short. You cannot be wasting time when you can use that time to add value to people's lives. When you can use that time to do better things. You cannot use that time to maintain relationships that add no single value to your life. I used to have a friend like that. We went to secondary school together. After secondary school, we went to university together, but I had to leave that university. I went to another university, so I didn't see her for a while. And by then, of course, I had become a changed person. By the time I met her, she was trying to catch up, we related for like a day or two. By the second day, nobody told me that I needed to block her. I needed to discard her, because when we were friends, we that time, did we even know what we were doing? We were young, we were wild, we were reckless, we didn't know what we were doing. But as I saw that, it seems as if she has not grown, she's still in that same place. And me, I don't want that one. I just gently blocked her. I blocked her. I completely left her out of my life. As I'm talking now, I really don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. And so many other people, even if they are your family members. I'm not saying you should keep a grudge. I'm not saying you should keep malice. I'm not saying you should cut them off in your life in the sense that you don't want to have anything to do with them. No, I'm not talking about that. Especially for family. especially for family. But if there's anybody that makes you think less of yourself, anybody that makes you doubt who you are and what you can do, please, as much as you can, keep away from such persons. Limit your interaction with such kinds of persons. That is one of the ways to say yes to growth. Then stop seeking people's approval. You have your life to live. People have their own lives to live. If you seek people's approval, it means you want to live people's lives. How many people's lives are you going to live? Have you finished living your own life? You now want to live another person's life. It's not possible. Anything you want to do, as long as it is all right in the sight of God, as long as it is something you know that you want to do and you know that God approves of what you want to do, please go ahead and do what you want to do. Let me tell you something. God does not give grace for the work he has not sent you to do. God's grace is sufficient. It is sufficient for the things that he has sent you to do. If you decide that before you write that book, you have to go and ask the chairman of the elders committee of your church, or before you write that book, you have to go and ask that your auntie. Before you write that book, when you know that they may say no, I advise you to please just go ahead with what you want to do. Don't seek people's approval.
Mm.
Hello? Hello? Am I still
Yes.
there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Don't seek people's approval. You cannot, if you seek people's approval, you want them to live their own lives through your own life. That is not possible. And as I said, God's grace does not extend to that one. You are just doing over sabi, and it's going to put you inside big trouble. And just talking about it now, it just occurred to me that, seeking people's approval is you telling yourself no. Is you telling yourself no. Is you telling yourself that you cannot do that thing you want to do. You have made up your mind that you want to write that book. And you know that it is okay with God. God does not have any problem with you writing that book. Why do you want to seek people's approval? You want to seek people's approval because you are suffering from maybe imposter syndrome. You're thinking you're not good enough to write that book. So when you seek people's approval, if they tell you, write book, hey, which kind of book? Hey, you, where do you get where you want to write? It's like you're saying, hey, I said it, I cannot write that book. That is very, very dangerous. And if you want to grow, you cannot say yes to that kind of a thing. Then another thing is, every opportunity you have, please add value to people's life. Any opportunity you have, add value to people's life. Forget about what is in it for you. Forget about what is in it for you. Even if it has to do with your work, even if you're getting paid to do something, make sure what you're giving goes beyond the value of that money you've been paid for. Let your client understand that whatever you're doing for him or her is not about the money, but your desire to add value to that person's life. As an editor and proofreader, of course, I want to get paid for the services I render. I need money. I need money to buy data. I need money to run my life. But money is not the most important thing. I am more concerned about doing my work so well that my client will be so satisfied, and my client will go ahead, publish that book, and people will buy that book. People will read that book. People will learn from that book. People will be happy to read that book. So every opportunity you have, add value to people's life. If anybody needs help and you can render that help without getting paid, please go ahead and do it. That is why I love volunteering for as many courses as I can. If any opportunity arises for you to add value to somebody's life, please go ahead. By doing that, you're also adding value to your life. You're also opening doors for yourself. You're establishing relationships for yourself. At the end of the day, money is not everything. There are some things you will need that even money cannot answer. But the value you have given, which in turn has built relationships for you, those kind of relationships can open um, doors for you. Then another thing I want to say about saying yes to growth is, please follow the process. Follow due process. Don't go for shortcut. Oh, that shortcut, it always ends in an even longer cut than the original cut. Don't go for shortcut at all, at all, at all. Follow process. You've got to learn well. And to learn well takes time. You've got to do things well, and it takes time. So if you want to bypass the process, you want to do it sharp, sharp, fast, fast. Ah, they say easy come, easy go. That's just how it is. If you do it sharply, that's how it will go sharply. I know that we live in a jet age. Everything is fast, fast, sharp, sharp. Let's do it now. Sharp, 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 sharp. It's not everything that is about sharp, sharp. Oh, there is process. There is process to everything. So follow due process. Do things as they should be done. Avoid shortcuts. That is another way to say yes to growth. Another way to say yes to growth is, no matter how small your success is, try to celebrate it. Don't wait until you get one big contract before you celebrate. If you've set a goal to achieve something and you achieve it, no matter how small it is, please celebrate your success. By celebrating your success, it's giving yourself a pat on the back and telling yourself that, if I can do this small one, it means I can do the big one. You're saying yes to growth by celebrating your success, no matter how small. Then be willing to accept criticism, even if you think it's coming from bad belle. Let the person that has the bad belle be having the bad belle, but whatever criticism is given to you, don't take it personally. Try to look at whatever has been said and see if there's truth in it and deal with it. Then another way, the last thing I want to say about saying yes to growth is, you must take responsibility for your actions. You must take responsibility for your actions. You cannot be blaming everyone and everything when things go wrong. You must take responsibility for your actions. If you messed up, say you messed up. It is not the end of life. Admit it. Yeah, I made a mistake. I apologize. I will correct it. The most important thing is taking responsibility and amending the mistakes you have made. If you cannot amend the mistake by yourself, look for someone that can help you amend it. But you must take responsibility for your action. I don't like a situation where something happens and the first thing they ask is, who is responsible for this? I believe the first question to ask is, okay, this has happened. What do we do about it? Well, even if you want to know who is responsible for it, fix the problem first. Fix the problem, then you can pursue whoever is responsible for it. If the person needs to be punished, whatever. But you as an individual, always take responsibility for your action. If you do something, don't blame it on the weather. Don't blame it on your husband. Don't blame it on your children. Don't blame it on your neighbor. Don't blame it on the fact that you were born in a poor family. They said, of course, you cannot choose. You don't have a say in where you were born or the people that
One.
gave birth to you.
Yeah.
You don't have a say in that. You cannot take responsibility for that. But you cannot take responsibility for the things that happened in your childhood, because as a child, what do you know? But as an adult, you must take responsibility for your life. You must take responsibility for your life. I keep telling my daughter, she's independent minded and she's only 9. She keeps saying, Mommy, I can do this thing by myself. I can do this thing. Why? I keep telling her, whoa, at this stage of your life, I'm responsible. Whoa. And as long as I'm responsible for some of those things, you must listen to me. When you turn 18, you can do whatever you like. When you turn 18, when you commit a crime, they will not look for your mother. God forbid that you even commit a crime. If it happens that you do something, they will not look for your mother, they will look for you. But right now, if you do something, the first thing that they will ask, who be the mama of this pikin self? So allow me to run things for you. But as an adult, you must take responsibility for your life. If you take responsibility for your life, I'm telling you, things will come easier for you. If you take responsibility for your life, instead of wasting time blaming this, blaming that, you will use that time to find solutions to problems that come up. Instead of looking for who to blame. Okay, you are looking for who to blame. Okay, after you have found who to blame, what next? Is that the thing that will solve whatever problem is on ground? Is that the thing that will solve it? No. So take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for your actions. Don't run away from your wrongdoings. If you do anything wrong, please take responsibility with your full chest. Take responsibility for it. By taking responsibility for it, it means you're ready to find a solution to it. And by the time you take responsibility for it, I can bet you that next time you will not repeat that thing because you've taken responsibility for it. See, God has given us all that pertains to life and godliness. That is what the Bible has told us. And saying yes to growth is living that life that God has given you. God has made all things well for us. We are our only limitation. We are the ones that are limiting ourselves. So if you say yes to growth, you will see a side of you that you never knew existed. You see, all these things I'm talking about are things that are going on in my life right now. I'm not saying that all these things I've said are all. No, we cannot exhaust this topic. But I'm talking about things that have worked in my life, things that are working in my life. I understand that the life that God has given me is meant to be lived well. God has given me life and He wants me to live life well. But if I stand in the way of my growth, how can I live that life well? I can't live that life well. I cannot glorify God in anything that I do. I will keep struggling. I'll keep struggling. I'll keep wondering why, right from when I was a child, I'm still struggling with poverty. Up to now, I'm still struggling. You keep asking yourself those kind of nonsense questions, if I may say so. But if you say yes to growth, the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. I'm not saying if you say yes to growth, wow, money will jump into your account if it's money that you are looking for. No, I'm not saying so. But what I'm saying is, if you say yes to growth, it means you're ready to live life in the fullest. You're ready to go all the way. You're ready to stretch yourself. You're ready, to just let go and let God do those things that He wants to do for you. I rest my case.
That was so great. It's like I'm echoing to myself.
No, I can't hear any echo.
Okay, so that's
Okay, so
fine.
that's
You
fine.
can be heard. That was so
That was
great.
so great.
In fact,
In
you
fact,
dwell on the
dwell on
topic
the
and
topic and
you touch
you touch
every
every
side,
side,
you pick everything.
everything.
And I think
And I think
most of the
most of the
points you
points you
mentioned
mentioned
is also
is also
speaking to
speaking to
mindset. And then
mindsets, and
it marries
it
to what you
marries
mentioned
to what you
earlier
mentioned earlier,
that
yes,
the
that
growth starts
the
from
growth
the
starts
mind.
from the mind. Yes.
So
So
everything she has
everything
mentioned
she has
so far
mentioned
are
so
just
far
real
are
to
just
life. And I
real to
love
them.
how
And I
she
love how
made
she made
um,
um,
samples of things that
samples
she
of
had
things that she
experienced.
has
In
experienced
life,
in life.
okay, I think I'm
I
echoing
think
you
I'm
through.
echoing you too.
Somebody just
Okay,
mentioned.
yes. Somebody just mentioned too.
Okay, let
Yes,
me
the
remove
echo.
her.
Okay, let me just a little.
Okay, can you? I think it's
I think
better
it's
off.
better off. Okay, yes.
No, it's not. I think I'm echoing still. Can somebody check whether I'm still echoing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well. It's just
Okay,
my side.
I can't hear any echo.
No, because we are in the studio, so they have to be the one to tell me.
Oh, okay.
Am I okay
Uh-huh.
now? Okay, great. Yeah, so it's fine now. Actually, it was speaking back to me, so I know something was wrong.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so I like the fact that you played this example from experience that happened, and I know everyone has experienced some of those things in our life at some point or the other. It's
Mm,
just like the events might be different, but the
mm,
line of story most of the time is same. And
yes.
if peradventure you're listening to us and you have not been there or you have not wasted your time too much, this is an opportunity for you to take a U-turn immediately and
Mm,
make right the wrong, right? So that at the end of the day, you don't journey like others have journeyed. You have listened to a lot of things. You mentioned from the aspect of the people that you find around you, the company you keep. In fact, this particular one speak a lot about us. It speak a lot about our next action, the next place we are going to be. She spoke about the location where we find ourselves, the environment we decide to put ourselves in. Sometimes it may appear everything is okay, you're fine, but inside of you, if you really do the audit, like she said, she did a level of auditing, and you shouldn't lie to yourself because for you to have accepted that I am watching TV too much, or I'm talking too much, or I'm not where I'm supposed to be, that means you must have done some level of self audit that make you to come to that realization. I know a lot of people do audits, but they still lie to themselves. So if you want to grow, you don't need to lie to yourself. At least if you
mm,
can lie to every other person, to yourself, you should not be lying. You should not be lying to yourself. And because if
mm,
you can, it's only when you can identify problem that you can solve it. If you cannot
yes.
identify any problem, there's no way. If you feel that you're okay, like some
Mm,
people say, this is my life, I care less.
mm-hmm.
Yes, it's your
Yeah,
life,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can live the best of life. If you say you care less
Yes.
of whatever everybody says, yes, it's fine. And at the same time, of course, you don't want to get approval of people. But there's a thin line between you saying I don't want to sit to get approval of people and I'm actually doing the right thing. Because sometimes
Mm,
people really doing wrong thing and they keep
mm.
saying, I don't need people's approval before I move forward.
Yes.
But in
Yes.
you, inside of you, you know that you are not in it at all. So from yourself, because it's something that is from inside out. And if you think you are find difficulty in doing this, if you have to do a retreat, like if you have to be you going offline, to just
Mm-hmm.
go and identify yourself. You need to first know who you are before
Mm,
you can make any exploit. Like she said the other time, how will you impact somebody's life without first, impacting yourself? So it starts
mm,
from you. You have to first grow before you can grow any other person. So if you cannot grow, it's to the extent that you grow. Okay, let's say for instance you have a mentor. It's the extent your mentor knows that you
mm,
can, if that's the person you adore or you listen to in everything, it's to the extent that the person knows that you can grow. So it now
mm,
takes you an extra effort to find who you are and know what. So even if you have mentor, your mentor will only guide you. You still have
mm,
the totality of what your life will turn to in your palm. So it's how you want to live it that determines where you'll be in future. And given this mindset of saying, okay, are you coming in again?
Yes, yes, yes.
Let me remove this then and bring you in with this. Okay. So if you don't remove that mindset of saying this is limiting yourself to say this is who you are, you can grow as much as you want in life, and you can write that down. I don't know what you imagine in mind. There is solution to get there. Yes, sometimes some of our dreams are very wild. Some of our dreams appear unachievable if you look at the environment we found ourselves. But when you give that permission to yourself to grow, and you walk the process like she mentioned, you can't jump the process. You walk the process. You move with the right set of people, they will catapult you. That the way your growth will speed. And I can relate with her saying that she was talking to a friend, and then she realized that they are not speaking on the same platform. When you grow, you will know. It's only when you have not grown that you still be 20 years, 10 years down the line, something still interests you. There's something that happens to grow that you even cannot explain it. Something doesn't just freak you again. They don't define what is a go for you or what is not a go for you,
Exactly.
because you
Exactly.
understand your move. And until we
Yes.
get to that level, and continuously, because growth, like she said earlier, is not something that is static. It's something you keep doing, you keep moving, you keep doing. So I love the way the approach that you've given to this topic today, and I'm not going to repeat what all that you said. I'm only going to admonish anyone that joined us late to go back to the video and review it again. Sometimes we just need to hear somebody else speaking to get ourselves out of some subconscious state we've put ourselves in. You understand? So in that state, you won't know that you're there. But when you hear others speaking, it may just be a point that will liberate us and take us to the next level. And that is why when you're in the midst of people that speak value, don't sleep. Just open your ears open. Even though when you know the topic they are talking about, keep your ears
Exactly.
open. Keep your mind open, because there could be something there. And that take me to what I love about Madame Amino. I see in there several places. I know, I think during COVID period, I don't know how we got connected on Facebook. But one thing I've known her so far and consistently know her with is that I only find her in the group and on the platform where they speak about growth, development, leadership, and everything in between. And she's not somebody that, I know that by it, because for me, when I notice someone, I go a bit to, just dwell your background to know a bit about you. And with the little I know she's far older than a lot of us. But the way she carries everybody's, platform. It's like, oh, if she's not speaking there, she's not, you cannot grow. Something relating to that. So she want to be volunteering. And what she was saying that this is the reason why I volunteer, then I can relate perfectly well, because I see her everywhere growth happen, development happen. They talk about leadership. I've seen her, even if she may not know, because sometimes I may not talk there, but I see her everywhere. And I said, this madam, you are coming on Swiss one of these days to talk to us, even before I mentioned to her. And it's been a long while. So I want to say a very big thank you for the impact you are making in the life of others. You don't know sometimes who you are inspiring, in being better, for you just being consistent. If I was looking at it, if she can be consistent in this manner, and I could feel love from what you're doing, you're not doing for eye service or just because they just, please let me work on yes, please do that. So if an adult at her age she can go to that level for personal development, then what it is to us of youth of nowadays, that means we can do much more. So Madam Minos, I want to say a very big thank you for inspiring a lot of us on this platform. Thank you for your words today. You just dive straight and you dwell so much on the topic. And I don't think if you have any question, you can drop. But I believe from my side, you've dealt with a lot of questions I've had in my mind. And all I can say is just thank you. But I know, let me somebody say thank you so much for the high opening section. That absolutely, it was an high opening section. And I know there's no way you not pick something. You know, as she was talking, I was just I love your style, the fact that you're also very comic in the approach you throw some of your points. You just have to laugh. And this is one thing about elderly people, they've been there before. So sometimes we should not ignore elderly people. She said the other time that, yeah, there are some good thing about being an elder, but you cannot stay in your old way. Yes, you can, growth must happen, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that we can learn from the people that have gone ahead of us. It's so beautiful when we try to put ourselves on the shoulder of someone to guide and help us through life, challenge. It just make our journey easy. It make the growth easy. It make us feel that we are doing it the best way. But of course, we have asked somebody that keep encouraging us at the side of your corner. And without wasting our time, I just want to say thank you again, Madam Amino. Thank you for doing this with us today. So if you could have any parting words to our audience, please share at this time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, so much, so much for this opportunity. I I value it so much. I value this so
Thank
much.
you.
And as you have said, what I want to say is never ever think that you have gone beyond growth as
Yeah.
long as you are alive. Don't
Mm.
ever think that you have seen it all.
All.
What
Mm.
else is there?
Mm. Mm.
Don't ever make that
Mm.
mistake. Don't ever.
Mm. Mm.
There's something you said that really got to me. You said even if you know what somebody is talking about, still
Yeah.
listen.
Listen. Yeah.
There is no how that you will not learn even one little thing.
Thing. Yeah.
There's no how that you will not learn even one little thing.
Yeah.
So don't think that you can outgrow anything
Ruth.
or
Yeah.
growth. Don't think that you can that no, I can't no, that one I don't already know I'm finished now. What is there again? Don't make that don't ever make that mistake.
Thank you so much, Ma. And this is how we're going to be ending the
Thank
Incorruptible
you.
Women series November edition. And to cap it off, this is just the final one in the year 2020. So with this, I would like to say a very big thank you to everyone that have joined in with us. And like I said, I was talking to the people on my WhatsApp because recently I've not really been on, if you've noticed, because I'm doing some personal. I also have to grow. Yeah, that's the word. So what we're going to be doing after, we've on two is since last quarter of 2020 when we started, we've had to interview or have as our guests about 20 people, you inclusive. And to the glory of God, we are already putting a book together, and that is going to be a 20
Wow.
authors in one book. So, madam, not all that you'll be saying, somebody's going to transcribe it into text, and I will come back to you to, to have some more input so that is our readers can
Okay.
have. So at the end of the day, next year conference of the Paragon Pearl Initiative, we are going to be unveiling this book. And I'm so excited that you're
Woo!
part of the 130 people that are going to be making this first book. Thank you so much for doing this with
Wow.
me. Thank you everyone that have listened
Thank you.
so far
Thank you,
on
Kenneth.
this platform. Thank you for joining along with us. It's been a great time, hosting you all on this program. Until we meet next year, I think we're supposed to have a Thanksgiving program on the PPI platform before the end of the year. I'll see how that can work out with our time. But just in
Okay.
case, thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you everyone for staying tuned. I really appreciate you all. So we'll see on Twist by next year if God be with us all and keep us all. Just keep doing
Really.
good. keep being doing well, and keep impacting your environment wherever you find yourself. Like I always say, it's not about the audience, it's always about how much individual you've been able to impact. So if it's just one person, you don't know, you have just impacted the next 100 person. If it's two-person, you have just impacted the next 200 person, and that is how life move on. So whatever it is that you can do in your own little corner, however you think is little, you're actually impacting life, and that is what really matters. So keep impacting, guys. Thank you. Till we meet next time on Twist. God bless also. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.